well-known hacks performed by the Hacktivist collective known as Anonymous. It doesn't really matter if the goal was successful or not. As long as the cyber intrusion received widespread media attention, it will be included. Number 10. The Minneapolis Police Department.
This week's brutal killing of George Floyd, which has sparked protests and national outrage, is merely the tip of the iceberg in a long list of high-profile cases of wrongful death at the hands of officers in your state.
Anonymous made headlines several times in the 2010s, but went quiet towards the end of the decade. They returned, however, in 2020 to support the protests sweeping America following the killing of George Floyd by police officers in Minneapolis. A video released on May 28 declared that they'd take revenge on the local police department. And shortly afterwards, the Minneapolis police and official city websites went down.
People have had enough of this corruption and violence from an organization that promises to keep them safe. After the events of the past few years, many people are now beginning to learn that you are not here to save us, but rather, you are here to oppress us and carry out the will of the criminal ruling class.
Anonymous also leaked hundreds of emails and passwords, although these appear to be from older breaches. Their resurgence in popularity was helped by retweets from K-pop fans, in an unexpected alliance of activists.
Unfortunately, we do not trust your corrupt organization to carry out justice, so we will be exposing your many crimes to the world. We are Legion.
Number 9. Operation Tunisia.
Dear citizens of the world, the time for truth has arrived, a time for freedom and transparency, a time for people to express themselves freely and to be heard from anywhere across the world.
During the Arab Spring, Anonymous was everywhere, with numerous operations in support of anti-government protests. In Egypt, Anons hacked into government websites and took them offline. In Syria, they posted a message supporting the civil uprising on the Defense Ministry website.
Anonymous has heard the cries for freedom from the Tunisian people and has decided to help them win this battle against oppression.
However, one of their most famous and substantial operations was in Tunisia during the revolution of 2010 and 2011. Anonymous not only took down government websites, they also distributed anonymizing software for protesters and helped share videos of the uprising. The revolution ended with President Ben Ali fleeing to Saudi Arabia.
President Ben Ali had fled following the worst unrest of his 23-year rule.
Number 8. H.B. Gary. In February 2011, security firm H.B. Gary claimed it had successfully infiltrated Anonymous. The company's chief executive, Aaron Barr, stated that he would publicly unveil their findings. In retaliation, Anonymous hacked into H.B. Gary's website, posted thousands of company emails online, and erased various files.
An executive at this computer security firm, H.B. Gary, provokes them, goes to a computer security conference and says, I'm going to reveal the primary members of this group. And they hack the site and they put 4.7 gigabytes of information, internal documents about this.
Included in the emails were sketchy tactics aimed at discrediting WikiLeaks on behalf of Bank of America. Following that, Anonymous went after Barr himself and revealed his supposed home address and social security number through Twitter.
As a final flourish, it left a message on H.B. Gary's website saying, "You brought this on yourself. Let us teach you a lesson you'll never forget. Don't mess with Anonymous." It's a warning other companies will no doubt take to heart.
It was a public relations nightmare for H.B. Gary, and Barr announced his resignation from the company on February 28th. Number 7. Project Chanology. One of the first and most popular attacks by Anonymous was aimed at the controversial Church of Scientology. It began on January 14, 2008, when a leaked Scientology video starring Tom Cruise made its way onto YouTube.
When you drive past an accident, it's not like anyone else. As you drive past, you know you have to do something about it because you know you're the only one that can really help.
The church subsequently filed a copyright violation claim against the website, which Anonymous argued was a form of censorship. Anon sent black faxes to various Scientology centers and launched denial-of-service attacks against their websites, which is when a website becomes overburdened with traffic, preventing users from accessing the site.
Anonymous has therefore decided that your organization should be destroyed, for the good of your followers, for the good of mankind, and for our own enjoyment.
Anonymous's actions greatly increased awareness of the church's problematic practices, leading to worldwide protests attended by thousands thousands of people.
And whether or not we get viewed as vigilantes or whatever, hey, we'll take however people view us is how they view us.
Number 6, Operation Payback. What began as a skirmish soon became an online war. In 2010, private anti-piracy company Aplex Software launched numerous denial-of-service attacks against various torrent sites, such as the Pirate Bay. In response, Anonymous launched a widespread campaign against pro-copyright and anti-piracy organizations, including law firms, lobby groups, the United States Copyright Office, the Recording Industry Association of America, and KISS's very own Gene Simmons. The campaign broadened to other issues in December when financial institutions began to freeze donations to WikiLeaks.
I mean, when circumstances arose surrounding WikiLeaks, it was a much graver threat, one that required immediate action, and we will fight for the vindication of WikiLeaks, and the events surrounding the Pirate Bay have not been forgotten. Companies like this are playing a cruel game with the public and will make them lose.
In what became known as Operation Avenge Assange, Anons launched DDoS attacks against PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, and more.
It's being called Operation Payback. So-called hacktivists secretly infiltrate thousands of other online computers whose owners are unaware of the process. They form a so-called zombie army of robo or slave computers that bombard the mainframes of the target companies with so many messages, the target computers slow down or crash under the onslaught.
When the dust settled, 13 members of Operation Payback were indicted in federal court on felony charges.
We do not forgive internet censorship, and we do not forget free speech.
We are over 9,000.
Expect us.
Number 5, Operation Free Korea. It might seem ambitious to go after North Korea, but ambition is not something Anonymous lacks. In April 2013, Anonymous claimed to have hacked into the state-controlled website Uri Minzo Kuri and stolen 15,000, quote, membership records. They then unveiled a list of demands, including the resignation of Kim Jong-un, the installation of democracy, the abandoning of the country's nuclear projects, and uncensored internet access for its citizens.
But this is just the latest shot in an ongoing and very serious cyber war between the two Koreas that goes far beyond just the humiliation of a leader.
They also broke into North Korea's Flickr site and posted a photo of Kim Jong-un with a pig snout and a Mickey Mouse tattoo. Following that, Anonymous stated they'd release stolen secret military documents, but these threats never came to fruition.
So, who knows what they're planning on doing with all of that, but I wouldn't mess with Anonymous.
Number 4, Operation Mega Upload.
Now, you may have heard of some of these Anonymous-related hacks in the past to take down other government websites, but never have they gone after so many at once.
One of Anonymous's recurring concerns is with the free dissemination of information and entertainment. Mega Upload was one of the biggest file-sharing services in the world between 2005 and 2012. In January of 2012, however, the United States Department of Justice closed the site on the grounds of copyright infringement and arrested 4 of its employees.
Within minutes of its shutdown by the U.S. authorities on Thursday over questions of copyright infringement, hackers had jammed the websites of the FBI, the Justice Department, and Universal Music. The online collective known as Anonymous said they did it and will strike again.
In response, Anonymous launched retaliatory DDoS attacks against numerous government bodies, including the Department of Justice, the Copyright Office, and even the FBI. Entertainment organizations were also targeted, including Universal Music Group, the MPAA, RIAA, and Warner Brothers Music.
Exactly, it's a violation of freedom of speech, and it's Anonymous and a lot of other movements regard the internet as sort of independent from any government, and they regard a government interfering in the free flow of the internet as stepping outside of their jurisdiction.
Number 3, Bank of America. In March 2011, Anonymous released a number of internal emails from Bank of America. Posted on bankofamerica.sucks.com, they allegedly came from a former employee and exposed, quote, corruption and fraud. The source worked for Balboa Insurance, a firm that was owned by the bank until being sold later that same year. The accusations included, quote, forced place insurance policies that inflated premiums. The bank also purportedly manipulated numbers used to identify loan insurance accounts, resulting in improper foreclosures. Of course, no one was especially surprised owing to the bank's history of shady loan practices. Number 2. Westboro Baptist Church. Based in Kansas, the Westboro Baptist Church is infamous for picketing funerals and its history of hate speech. Often described as a hate group, the church has protested and released inflammatory statements against homosexuals, Catholics, Jews, and Muslims, among many others.
So you think the government of this country should put me to death for enabling homosexuality by thinking it's okay?
Yes. Anonymous went after the church in December 2012 after it planned to picket the funerals of Sandy Hook victims.
We will not allow you to corrupt the minds of America with your seeds of hatred. We will not allow you to inspire aggression to the social factions which you deem inferior. We will render you obsolete. We will destroy you. We are coming.
They hacked into members' social media accounts, launched a DDoS attack on their website, and released personal information, including names and home addresses, of various prominent church members.
God knows who you are and He knows your heart, and out of your heart, your mouth is speaking, and you sound like a guy who's headed to hell. I'm just saying.
In my lifetime, I've performed over 9,000 sins, so...
Oh, and you keep track? What, do you have a tally sheet?
Yeah, over 9,000 sins. I keep a track.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Uganda LGBT rights. Anonymous hacked into government websites to protest stringent LGBT laws. Operation Darknet. Anonymous published 1,500 usernames in relation to nefarious activities. The Hal Turner raid. Anonymous took radio host Hal Turner's website offline.
Hal Turner wasn't the first, actual person that, Anonymous had caused trouble for, but the circumstances ended up being significant. They DDoS'd his website, stuff like that, costing him thousands of dollars, bandwidth fees.
Anonymous versus the Australian government. Took down the Prime Minister of Australia's website in response to image board censorship. Defacement of support online hip-hop. Anonymous attacked the hip-hop news website in retaliation for insults made against them. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Operation Sony.
It's being called a security breach of staggering proportions. Sony has confirmed that hackers broke into its PlayStation network, exposing the personal information of up to 77 million users worldwide.
To understand Anonymous's attack on Sony, we need to delve into their past with well-known hacker George Hotz, also known as GeoHot. Hotz is famous for both unlocking the iPhone and for publishing the root keys of the PlayStation 3 on his website. Sony in turn sued Hotz for his involvement and were granted the IP addresses of everyone who'd visited his site.
If companies want to put these security measures on these devices, great, good for them. But if we want to come in and we want to remove these security measures so we can do legal things with our devices, then I think we have every right to.
In retaliation, Anonymous launched various attacks against Sony, like taking down their website and the PlayStation Store, and tracking down personal details of various executives. Later, the PlayStation Network suffered a historic outage, and up to 77 million personal accounts were breached. While Anonymous operations denied taking part in the attack, they also admitted that another branch of Anonymous may have been responsible.
Well, on the Anonymous website, they have a post which says, "For once, we didn't do it." They say that although some of their members could have acted by themselves to bring down Sony's servers, as an organization, it was nothing to do with them.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.